You can get.
Hello.
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 Oh, well, dear
I didn't
listener.
mess it up this time.
No,
You
and I
were
was
on-
going to
you
say
were on
Jack can
point.
get the first hello, but here I am talking over him now. My God.
Oh, no, and I'll be demure. I'll hide in the woods. So I was doing a lot of that recently. So it's, it's very good.
Jack, did something happen recently?
It did. It
Did
did.
you finally get out of the house to do a thing?
Yes, indeed. I was going to say, Rocco, the stars aligned. And as everyone knows, here in my little foresty home, hanging out with my beloved children,
Yeah.
the opportunities for real world Warhammer, where I may shake someone's physical hand and put actual models of mine on the table, are fewer and farther between for big events than they sometimes are. So outside of our online tournaments, I don't have as many opportunities this year because of number two as I want to indulge in. But I was able to sojourn forth to play in the Ironweld GT, which is this really big kind of cool GT that the Wicked Dicey folks put up around here near
Out Boston way.
Yeah, and it's a sneaky big time event. It's not 500 people, but it's pretty voluminous in terms of attendance, and it always attracts a lot of the big names. A lot of people who are kind of top of their game show up to it because a lot of those folks are in Wicked Icy or they're in Tough Crowd, and we always have great attendance for those crews.
Northeast represents, man.
Indeed. So
take people in from New York and down and around, and yes, Matt.
On that note, welcome to our podcast.
Oh,
Always Strikes Last.
Oh, yeah. They might want to know why they're here.
Where are we? Who are you people?
Doing? How y'all doing?
Listeners. Yeah, if you made it this
We
far.
appreciate all of your love and supports.
Yeah.
Everyone took
Jack's
my comment
really
very
excited.
literally last week. That was so wonderful. Thank you, guys.
I know. Give us more. Only this time, now it's Jack's turn.
Yeah. Shower it in. I'll accept the love if it comes. But yeah, guys, if you're here, you know that we're here to talk about competitive Warhammer and various quests. And today is such a day. We're going to talk about my journey in the Ironweld GT with my super hot meta pick, almost all Darkoath list.
Hell yeah.
Groundbreaking. Groundbreaking list. So lay us on it.
Just in.
Yeah. So I'll set the stage and I'll give you guys all the deets. So first things first, I'm just going to describe the tournament itself a little bit more. I think it's really good to promote it because it's such an awesome event, and the Wicked Dicey guys do an amazing run of events.
Friends of the show. We've had several of them on here.
I probably should have a few more on because there's some guys there who do, and there's a guy in particular who organized the event, who would be perfect for a spoiler alert future Dad Hammer episode because he organizes these conventions, and he also plays competitively, and he also navigates it as a dad, down in New Jersey. And Corey McKinney, if you're listening, that's you. But we're gonna make that happen at some point in the near to medium future. But I digress. So real quick, it's a series of 4 or 5 events they run. They have traditionally run the Ironweld GT in the summer, big GT, big names I was talking about. Then they run the Everwinter in the winter, similar kind of deal at a hotel somewhere around Boston, big convention space.
Much better than the summer. Very confusing.
Yeah.
I'm confused listening to
Then they have these 2 kind of awesome retreats they host out in the woods in Western Mass where you can go and kind of camp or have fun, drink some beer for a weekend, but play team tournament.
Go out to Chicopee and just go out and get chased by some deer.
Amazing.
Well, you said Western Mass. I was more central.
Not too Western. We're talking near
Western.
Western.
Deer over there?
Reasonable.
Oh, God, there's so many deer.
And
so many
ticks.
So many fucking deer and ticks.
Can't avoid them. Just accept the Lyme disease. You go.
I've lived
part of the toll.
Bring it into your
for
heart
a very long time.
And your bloodstream.
Indeed. But these are real fun teams events, and they've actually taken on another one this year. If you guys know the Summer Slaughter Tournament, that used to be run sort of Western New York, somewhere in New Jersey.
My basement wargamers from way back when.
Yeah. They're running that now too, so they're having that next month, I believe.
Martin Orlando, shout out to my friend.
Martin's great. He was
taking
actually
that rain. He's moving it on
this year, Rocco. Believe it or not, made it all the way up. Rocco was at Ironweld this year. Made it all the way in.
Who?
Martin Orlando.
Oh
yeah. Bringing the heat in terms of beautiful armies as he always does. But Anyway, I digress. Yeah. So this, pretty decent sized tournament, 56 people. And I was bringing the Darkoath. And just to give you guys a taste of what this hot list was, because we'll preface the whole show, it was the gear in Darkoath, check out these guns in the forest, name of the list. Trademarked by myself.
Yeah.
And it was 5 drops, 5 regiments.
Jeez.
First regiment, Gunner Brand himself.
Okay.
Yeah. Got the 20 Darkoath Marauders, a Wilder Fiend, his daughter Singri, part of his little band, and then the 3 Oathsworn Kin. And that kin are like his 2 other buddies, from the hero band of the book. And one of them is like his shaman, who creepily follows him around and is a level 1 wizard while this unit's alive. Only wizard in the army. Right there.
Love it.
Got my level 1 locked in. Then we got number 2.
Okay.
Darkoath Chieftain.
Yeah.
With the cool little amulet, the one that's new from Gear Round, where you can do some mortal damage to a thing within 12 and bring back models on a dirty D3. If you manage to make it, number of models equals a roll. Then another 20 Marauders. Another 10, this time 10 Savagers. A Wilder Fiend. So it's the second Wilder Fiend thus far. Then another unit, which is the same. Darkoath Chieftain. 20 Marauders. 10 Savagers, another Wilder Fiend.
Okay.
And then we round out the final 2 regiments with Regiment 3, a single Ogroid Myrmidon with that fight twice heroic trait with once a game. And the Volt Claws Engine Coven as a regiment renowned to have some sneaky shooting.
You mean the thing you've been talking about on this podcast since it dropped? You painted it for your kid.
Oh, yeah. I may have been using it a little bit, and the Rats of Vermindel are alive and well as a homage to my daughter's Frozen obsession. So it's working pretty well.
Embrace the power of being a father.
It's so good. You just got to lean into it. And, for this fun jaunt, I brought the Aether Rot machineries because it was good and also because it was 0 points. And I brought the Nexus Chaotica because also they don't charge me for that one because it's so good. And Intercept and Recover and Scouting Force. So that sets the stage for what I'm bringing here in terms of my heat.
And again,
did you deploy the terrain piece every game?
Say that one more time.
Did you deploy the terrain piece every game?
I did. I wanted it on there as a sneaky source additional mortal wounds, but I always wondered if it was the right choice because of being a nice, charge anchor, which sometimes it was.
Right. Or sometimes it's just help somebody score Scouting Force.
Exactly. I almost debated it's not bringing it at all, but I figured if I have one wizard and really want to cast, it's also that +1 sometimes when you need it. So
for sure,
that was good. Fair enough. I did end up, not to bear the lead, use that scythe a lot. I just love putting that scythe down and waiting for someone to move into its path on their turn. That has been helpful.
Nice.
But let me tell you guys about the whole journey. I don't think we even got into it yet. But Matt, you had something. I totally interrupted you.
What was that?
I interrupted you, Matt. I thought you had something.
Oh, no. I was just basking in the glory of all Darkoath.
Oops, all Darkoath. Yeah, it's a...
Bodies, not Gotties?
Yeah, bodies, not Gotties all the way. Bodies with a little stone that they pray to Gotties, right?
Exactly. All the little stones. I like to think that I was trying to fulfill one myself with this quest, bringing them to this one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Indeed.
So, dawn of the first day, I have had this crazy journey to get there. Yes, the hero's journey begins. And I get my first pairing, and it's kind of acquaintance friend I've met before, a great guy named Thomas Lang, who I played exactly once, and who I actually played a year ago when Darkoath first came out. They're really cool, and I kind of brought a variant list to the same Ironweld, and he was also playing Sylvaneth. He played Sylvaneth this time, and I beat him that time. But this time, of course, very different list, very different environment. So it was all right, let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Here's your litmus test.
Exactly. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to be because I walked into this with exactly one practice game with this list in the edition, which our friend of the channel, good friend Eddie Carando, was able to give me a little sounding board with it. Yep. So I walk into this thing, and this list that Thomas is running is pretty interesting, right? It's Sylvaneth. It's forest folks kind of thing. All the normal stuff in terms of manifestations and all that, for their native one. He's doing Restless Energy and Scouting Force. But the actual, kind of army was Alariel, 3 units of reinforced Spite Revenants, and the second regiment with Belthanos, and then 2 small units with Spite Revenants, and a big one of Tree Revenants, and then a third regiment with like a Warsaw Revenant. So it was Sylvaneth, but it's obviously tons of damage and like whack you, runaway stuff come from Belthanos and Alariel, and just Spite Revenant Mortals spam, kind of floating around there. So
okay.
Yeah.
No fair enough. Who needs them?
No need for it. No new big bows or nothing. Mm-hmm. So it was a really fun game, and it was great. Thomas always uses the clock, which is really good because I like the practice. It was very apropos to our last episode. Mm-hmm. But of course, I'm stressing because I have a crap ton of models to push around. I have to roll a crap ton of dice. So I'm slamming that clock all the time, trying to remember to do it. And we make our way through the game and keep it pretty good that way. Though I definitely, at the very end, let's just run out of time, but right as we're finishing. But we had such an interesting one where it was the mission where you start and you eventually pick a cycle and it shifts through. Yeah. Blanking on the actual name. So I run up, I take the position, I do the thing, I set everything so that my little kind of Darkoath screens, are in place with the heroes behind them, hiding in the woods or places of power so they can't be targeting, lurking as they do, so that he can come to me and I can hopefully counterpunch and do what I want to do. And I know he's going to strike and fade and all that, but I'm thinking I have the position, I can do this. I'm not too afraid of teleporting Revenants if I'm screening things out and protecting the heroes from random stuff. So it does go okay, but things sort of start to fall apart slowly because I have a lot of position and I'm starting to score my tactics in terms of like the scouting force stuff on the middle and left side of the board. But the right just sort of like melts and nothing quite goes right in terms of like killing things which aren't Spite Revenants, like, Alariel or Belthanos. Like my shooting kind of bounces off of them. They heal like immediately with like the D3, every end of their hero phase and the stuff they could do.
Oh, I thought it was 3.
I think it's D3. Yeah. Well, maybe I'm misremembering, but either way, it felt like my chip damage wasn't chippy enough. Like I had like this one great shot to potentially just blow up Belthanos, but like it all pinged off. It was like, okay. And, I'm not going to shoot a Lariel, which you can do 2d3 a turn. Let's have like all the gas right there. Sure. So they come in, he kick flips, not too successfully, but, Lariel does her hit and run and bounce. And I end up in a situation where I have to take, the right objective with some stuff if I want to score max points in turn 2. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to end up, ceding that ground, but I overexpose a bit. Like I send in the Myrmidon from his like little hidey hole against a place of power. He's holding on to a branch and he's totally invisible. Yep. And he and a fiend like kill the stuff there, and they manage to do what they need to do to kind of take it back, and they're locked in. Okay. But then he got his turn on 2, and he had a very successful turn. Like, he came in on that right objective. And of course, he'd chosen, the places of power, to start, let's place with it, the central objective to start cycling through. So he was going to score points over there, which is why I was fighting it so hard. And he manages to throw the spear and wing the Myrmidon for 4 damage. And then he manages to kill the Myrmidon with a Magmadroth impact hit. So he didn't have to split attacks. Yep. And I'm sitting there like, okay, there's some dicey scattered fighting here, but I'm really hoping you split attacks, you ignore the Myrmidon, or he skates through, which he, possibly could have, because then he's 16 attacks of like Magmadroth beetle killing energy. Yeah. But he didn't even have to roll an attack against this guy. He was able to, power, his little consolidation into the shooting and kill some of those units. And all of this is on the heels of a 10-inch flying charge.
Yep. Oh,
wow.
Yep. Yeah. So like we all get them, but it was a good moment for it. And, Thomas is a great player. So he just capitalized right on that stuff. And they were gone, and my whole like ability to really hurt him had evaporated at that point. Because I had like Wilder Fiends I could bring back and things I could do. But it wasn't going to be, I'm just going to shut you down now. And of course, his intercept and recover targets are pretty much the Warsong Revenant and the two giant, almost unkillable heroes now. So I am in trouble. I'm doing great on primary, but I really can't get intercept and recover tactics to save my life. And he can now drop forests everywhere and pretty much at will just like take my stuff. So it was kind of a good defensive fight at that point, but he was able to come and kind of marauder through anything of mine unless I got like pretty lucky because of just the raw speed of the big, hammer pieces and, what they had for everything else. I was able to sneakily go kill the Warsong Revenant and get the points there, but at the end of the day, it was a hard fought, loss for me. And I think it was like 63 him, 48 me, but, definitely one I didn't feel too bad about, except for the fact that like I probably misplayed the Myrmidon a little bit, didn't keep in the pocket where I should have been. But it was
definitely not a complete blowout, but
no,
like middle of the field coming out of that, right? So
exactly right.
Not the worst place to be, but probably a good sobering start, I would say, right?
A very sobering start.
So I have a question for you. Like, do you feel like it was that game and that situation, or do you feel like Sylvaneth is actually a tough one for your list? In reflection,
I think there's a couple things. I think that it might have been a little self-inflicted. Sylvaneth, I think, can be tough for me, but I'm not really that afraid in general for all the things they can do. As long as I can sit on a mission where I don't have to overexpose myself, because my biggest problem is their mobility. If they can outcast me and drop woods wherever, they can get out there with bodies, which I don't like. And I'm trying to be in other awkward places with bodies to score my tactics or win the game eventually. And their strike and fade ability is actually the thing I like the least if they just do that with precision, because my army was constructed to sort of envelop something important or couple something's important and then counterpunch it to death in a combination of shooting, medium, sneaky fight abilities from stuff like Wilder Fiends or Darkoath you can pump up, with the Mark of Khorne and the Chieftain, or like, the Myrmidon's one crazy, like, best day ever set of attacks. Yeah. But it doesn't work at all if you hit me and you're 10 inches away. Because you're outside of my like mortal bomb range, all those like points are just kind of sitting there. Yeah. I will struggle to get to you at 5-inch range and a 2d6 charge. It's really rough, which will come up later. Actually made this army struggle against things that could reliably do a power through, because they could do that same thing. Oh, it's just more automatic with like the people doing the Sylvaneth, strike and fade trick. I mean,
hey, Jack, we buried this lead a little bit too, but inquiring listeners want to know, what was this pre-tournament pregame ritual?
Oh my God, my pre-tournament.
You got so excited to tell us about the other 4 games. What happened? What set you off on this path?
I was waiting on that, Rocco. I was like, man,
he was so excited. I don't want
to. I was remiss. I should know better, guys. I should know better.
You should. You're the one that started giving me all kinds of little jokes about me asking. So yeah, this is a bit. Now we're doing it.
We got to do the bit. Okay.
We're dedicated.
But for the record, if you didn't drink a ghost, just let's cut this.
Fair.
Yeah, this will be edited out because we don't want the almost sponsor to lose their inertia.
Well, this is why you needed to drink a ghost, because you dropped your first game.
Tell you what. Yeah, I may need to drink a ghost, but I will say that I will tell you my pregame ritual, and if we can get these guys as a sponsor, at least like in the running with Ghost, I would be okay if they came through. Maybe as a second sponsor. I went to a Dunkin' Donuts at like 6 in the morning. I got like a large iced coffee.
Large iced coffee, okay.
Yeah, large iced coffee in Boston.
Mm-hmm. A little wake up wrap and scooted 2 hours down from Maine, to get to the venue in time. Yeah.
From Maine?
Yeah. Well, I was doing like a lot of traveling to make this happen.
That is a lot, Jack.
Yeah. Well, because I'd arranged it so, littlest one hanging out at home with my wife, doing fun stuff. And I wanted my older daughter to have some, bonding fun time with my parents in Maine. And so I arranged to bring her up there so she could spend all weekend there and then come down Sunday night and meet us for dinner after all the event was over. So I brought her up Friday, got that set up, and turned around way early to get down to Wakefield, which is Massachusetts where they started it. Yeah. A bit of a journey. So 2-hour drive, real early, 6 a.m., Dunkin' Donuts and all that stuff, get myself psyched up. But that was the way I began the day, and it's wicked dicey, so I had to do something very New England.
You did. And there's a Dunkin' Donuts every square mile throughout all of New England. So
I don't think we have one very close here.
No, they're one of the things that I genuinely miss out on the West Coast.
You would love them in Seattle if they just turn it into like a little Seattle coffee shop. Like they put one in the size of one of those little like drive-up huts. You know, they do the espresso.
Now, at the risk of them not sponsoring us, there's an amazing little Vietnamese donut shop right down the street from where I'm at now.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So sorry, Dunkin' Donuts. You don't have to sponsor.
Is there Krispy Kremes out there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Krispy Kreme is its own category.
Krispy Kreme's out here.
When they like bring them out
they're just not my favorite. They're just not. They're just
yeah.
They are.
As I got older, too much frosting.
They're nerval. They're nerval, tummy rumbling inducing donuts.
That's pretty true. It's hard to argue with that. But, But I was a purist. Didn't try to get distracted by these other chains or any fancier coffee shops. So I did the Dunkin', and I got there. And then, I was a little bleary-eyed. We were off to the races. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, guys, there it was. Dust settled on game one. And, like, the dream of, like, the 5-0, if it was ever alive, was not alive then.
I mean, Jack, before this tournament, I could have sworn you said something about you were happy if you just won a game, which is why I'm extra excited to hear about all this coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was definitely true. I was telling, a lot of our friends and acquaintances I had a chance to catch up with before we started that I felt like I had big 0-5 or 5-0 energy, but I wasn't quite sure which one it was going to be, like with my depth of practice. But,
you submarined, right?
Yeah.
You submarined. So you did well.
Let's hear it out in order here for our dear listeners.
Okay.
Potential sponsors.
Yeah.
Potential sponsors.
Potential sponsors. So I won't barely too much, but I got going on to the game too. And I had just, kind of thought a bit about what I'd done. I was like, okay, well, things did go wrong. I did get doubled, turned 2 into 3, which really concatenated things. I did make those slight misplays, but I couldn't feel too bad about it. Great guy, great player, good time with Thomas. So on the next one. And my second game was against another friend of mine, another wicked dicey guy named Jeremy Williams, who, if you've ever met him, out there in Ether, is one of the most gifted model converters and painters you're just ever going to see. Like he takes scratch built stuff and works them into armies so that they're just a visual and imaginative delight to play. Another luminary we may want to have on the cast at some point to talk about the approach to making the game come alive with some of his stuff. And we could even maybe get some of it in the Discord for folks to look at. But suffice to say, he did not disappoint. He brought a very cool and very unique Blades of Khorne list. So get this, guys. It's Blades of Khorne, the Gortide. And he, brings the judgments, of course, and has the prayers and all that. Brings Attune to Ghiran and Master the Paths as his tactics. And here is his list. General's Regiment, a Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury. Mm-hmm. Is it Fury? Fury. That's a different army, I guess.
A flurry.
Yeah.
And not furries.
No. Not for this particular Khorne band, though they do have that dog regiment.
Mm-hmm. True.
Then the second regiment was a Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage, of course. And he had the Argath, King of Blades, and Relentless Hunger.
Oh, good.
And then last but not least, he had a Realmbrewer Ritualist in another regiment, then a Slaughter Priest in another regiment, then a Slaughter Priest in another regiment, and he rounded it all out with no fewer than 8 Aspiring Deathbringers in his auxiliary units. So he kind of did the thing that Mason was doing with Deathbringers, but with his assassins, but with Aspiring Deathbringers.
Well, and also what you were doing.
Mm-hmm. With my Exalted Heroes. Yeah, very similar idea. So it was so cool to see, especially because all these Aspiring Deathbringers were painted up and converted beautifully. A lot of them were kind of Chaos Dwarf looking from Dwarven models, a lot of cool, creepy, Duarden heavy metal tile energy. Okay. And these Bloodthirsters, he had one was a converted, I think Forge Fiend from the 40K kits, which was kind of neat. And the other was a giant war mammoth. So it was, as always, a unique and compelling experience to get on the table. So huge shout out to pretty much everything that man ever does. But
Love
he,
it.
of course, outdropped me with his 13. But because we both had 5 official drops, no one was getting the double roll to kind of stop or accelerate prize.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is something I like to have in the back pocket with this list I was running. But
Yeah.
it just became the craziest and most fun game because he, had kind of an engine going where he would just kind of have blood tithe forever, and he was going to bring back these bloodthirsters if they died. So they're like
You
living
would have
battering
blood
rams
type
where,
forever. All these
yeah,
freaking foot heroes. I love it. Okay, go on.
exactly. And they're batteries. Like, the priests are cutting themselves to get free points. Anything of mine which dies, which of course a lot will die because it's Darkoath, gives them a point. And all these Deathbringers, like, they're 7 attack, 2 wound, 3 up armor save. Can't ignore them. You don't want to kill them, but you can't leave them alone.
Damage 3 attacks, built in 5-up ward, right?
Oh yeah,
they're
they're
exalted.
they're good.
The aspiring Deathbringers. So they're not quite as good. They're the 80-point little guys.
Not the
still,
exalted.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad too.
But for what they're doing,
I
as a
kind of
blood
love those
battery,
little guys.
oh, yeah.
I mean, again, yeah, but I agree, Jack. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like 80 points, like 7 attacks native, and like you could get 14 damage out of them. You need to put enough stuff in to get past that 3 up save to get to the 6 wounds.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like if they die, like that's what he wanted you to do. Best day ever, just run them all day.
Before you get into it, how many times did he just thwart your plan by murderlessing one of those idiots?
He did not do that almost at all with the Deathbringer.
Really?
That happened for sure. A lot of the play was on stopping problem pieces of mine with this excess of points he had. The big thing that happened a couple times is he started off and he turbo ramrodded one of the bloodthirsters into one of my flanks. So I do my normal setup, with this army and try to bring them in so they can hit the front lines. Hopefully have a bunch of reflective wounds come off the marauders, because they die near a character. And then I want a bunch of charged up, Wilder Fiends to blammo the thing which did that to them to death. As one does. But I was a little bit foolish, and I put a Wilder Fiend close enough to be in combat, with a charging bloodthirster. So when this bloodthirster came, and he did everything he could to kill all the marauders, which he did. He took a few reflective wounds, a reasonable number, and then I think he got 1/6. So he actually did the aura of damage, which I tried to minimize but couldn't entirely. So a few chip damages on things. All of a sudden, I'm gonna go, okay, great. Oh wait, no, you're fighting the Wilderfiend. He does a couple swipes at you, takes a couple more wounds. He powers through and bounces back 12 inches, and I'm like, oh no.
Yep.
And this was kind of me realizing what a problem that was for this army, because I had brought the banner, can shut off commands, but that can only be in one of the Marauder units, and that Marauder unit has to survive for that to even work, right? So I can kind of stop the bounce off either way if either that unit survives or the other unit just completely dies. But I have 4 guys left in the 20-man block. It's all they need to just get right out of there. 2 wounds or higher, and
right.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this bloodthirster, and I try to track him down, and it thus begins a game of cat and mouse where I'm keeping the central fire base very much intact. I'll let stuff get into that, and I'm keeping the Myrmidon much more cagely in the pocket, and I'm kind of running up the right flank and killing the couple heroes there, just getting everything up in the backfield so I can score all my tactics. And I score all my scouting tactics, and that's pretty easy. Set up those positions so the other game was able to do that. And I'm trying to kill the bloodthirsters to get some of the interceptor recover tactics, which eventually does happen. But a lot of it came down to the fact that he charged in to fight with the second bloodthirster as the one that was not even dead yet, with all of the exploding attacks was running around. He charged him to 3-6 charge one right there in the middle of my lines, and he got stuck because of the Dread Banner.
Oh.
And then I was able to take him down with the Myrmidon, and then he had to bring the other one in. I was able to bring that down, and so he wasn't able to get enough bloodthirsters back, and I was able to hold the board and take it in the day. But it was real dicey because of those living missiles. And there were a couple times where I thought I'd locked him down with something like a Wilder Fiend fighting one of those things as we'd go into one of his turns with, 3 or 4 wounds left on it. And he would Brass Skull Meteor that thing because he had so many so many Khorne sacrifice points. So really
Nice.
fun game, crazy experience. I'd never seen a list before, but it was really a good time to play it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's super
I like
rad.
that.
I wonder what sticks in that list when the new book comes out. But that's a
I'm
new
curious.
episode for
Did you win that game because you got a 5th CP every round?
A bit of like extra CP. I think it helped. I don't think it made the full difference. I think what made the full difference was at the end of the day, I had swampy board presence, and even though those little like Deathbringers could like kill everything, my tactics were aligned to I need to kill these 2 Bloodthirsters are the obvious tactics. I just need to be floating around. So I got like I think, yeah, 3 or 4 or 5 tactics. I think it was, just because of that alone.
And then with Scouting Force, did you use his terrain piece to score any of them?
I did use the terrain piece, I think, to get it at the end of the day in one case because I needed to.
I want to know that for every game.
Yeah. It was literally like actually pretty pivotal there because I was really comfortable on the right flank and not so comfortable other places because of Bloodthirsters and little heroes who I hadn't quite killed or taken care of yet. So I was able to use its proximity to other stuff to get the 1, 2, 3 I needed to then unlock the final one. Then I just had 3 guys skulking over there, anyway, and they got the final one in the final round.
It's that second one that's very hard. There's some maps where if they don't have a terrain piece, then there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, you gotta be hopeful that there's something there, but and you have the units in the right position, right? So it's tricky. I would also find, kind of on that note, that I could sometimes be a fixer with it as long as I could get my 3 I have to bring back like 5 Savagers or 10 Marauders or something to go sit somewhere. But if I can't roll the 3 up at the right time, I'm just waiting because they don't get there quickly, especially if it's back half to play.
Right.
But it worked out okay. We got that one in the day. I think the biggest pivotal moment was trapping the middle Bloodthirster to shut off the 3 to 6 charges and force other Bloodthirsters to come in. Because if that hadn't happened, he could just pick me apart. And I also kept him from getting his Master of the Paths started for a very long time because I hid all my heroes away from him, and they were trying to force him to come to me.
Nice,
smart.
Yeah, so it was fun. Good time. Trying to get like all my weird early morning jitters off. Get kind of in my zone, figure out the army. But by the time I was done with that game, we grabbed a beer. I felt a bit more like settled in how it all worked. A little practice in my belt, and so we got into game 3 to close out the day. And this game was, it's a dude I hadn't played before, but, great guy, Derek LePlume, and he was bringing some Seraphon.
Lizard Wizards.
Oh, yeah. And this, guys, was the mission everyone loves. This was Paths of the Fae.
Woo!
That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's more a little wild. I mean, as we all know, but I think we're all kind of afraid to play it in this tournament because they put it at the end of day 1.
I love that.
The most fried.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually more fun than I thought it would be. I really was like, okay, I can get like all the interesting play that comes off of this. Let's go. I'm here for it.
Right.
And he was playing a list which was a little different than the last couple of Seraphon lists I played, but it was kind of cool. It was the Sunclaw Starhost using the lore of celestial manipulation. Aetherite machineries, and he was doing also like intercept and recover, but all had restless energy for his other one. So he was rolling with a Scourge of Garan, kind of ethereal Carnosaur, when they do like the Being of the Stars. He had like the Rectories and Ancient Defender, and he had a couple small size units of Agrodon Lancers to run around. The Bastildon, the Ark of Sotek with like the snakes and the 2-up save. 1 unit of the Saurus Warriors, and then he had another unit with a Skink Starseer, a couple units of those Skinks that come in with the Dart Pipes and the Bolas, and a reinforced unit of Croxigo Warspawn. So to kind of like summarize this game, we were both aware of all the stuff that happened with Underdog. So we were both trying not to become the underdog immediately. So the beginning of the game was very cagey. I'd gotten both side objectives, but kept my units towing inside the line. So I wasn't going to accidentally score my scouting force too early and start that whole like chain activation, and kind of baiting him to go too low while I was set at 8 points or to score one of his. And he kind of did the same thing. And I just used that opportunity to set up like my middle line kind of with like this great terrain obstruction to not be able to get him any other way, but with clear lines of fire to fire over my guys who were 1 inch from that center objective, but not taking it to shoot at stuff. So over the course of the first couple turns, I avoided anything important getting plinked by the piece of terrain they have that can just sort of like blow up things. And I was shooting the warp spawn Croxigors to death. So by the time they got to me, they were down to something like 1 or 2 models.
Oh, it's a Croxigor?
Yeah, so they finally kind of came in to commit. So I was able to really take them down. That didn't do a huge amount more than, kill some marauders.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the opportunity, to do some more shooting. And I realized that I was in easy range of one of the only good targets I had, which was that Carnosaur. And he does such amazing damage, but he's only a 4 ethereal. I figure, okay, this is a great target for volume of fire. Turns out I was able to pretty easily take him down to 2 wounds. And so then I had a choice of, taking this Wilderfiend I kind of sent up as a sacrificial killer, more in the middle of the board, who's going to go kill off like the last Croxigor fighting like 2 or 3 marauders or something, to like go do that, which was the original plan, or maybe take a slightly longer charge and go kill the Carnosaur because his volume of attack should be able to take off 2 ethereal wounds. Sure enough, very easily did. And then, that guy probably got squished by the Bastillodon with some good dice with the crit mortals, but it was a good game to be had because I was holding the board. A lot of his pieces were tied up or gone. He could really stop me. And over the course of the rest of the game, he did a really valiant kind of like rear defense, trying to use the aggrodons well to kill stuff or to, once he was underdog, bounce some of my Savagers from one of the objectives to the other and bring his, Sauruses. But I kept the fire base intact and I just kept using that to really, really, take out large volumes, of whatever problem was approaching. So won that one pretty handily at the end of the day, but real fun game, real great way to experience that mission and to close out the first day. Mm-hmm.
Did you end up taking advantage of the underdog rules at all? Either of you?
I think he did. He had a chance. I had one chance late in the game. He had one chance where he bounced, my Savagers who were kind of the back left objective, near my deployment zone, and he replaced them with his 10 Saurus Warriors who he brought down there, and put my Savagers on the objective they'd been on, which was actually on the back left away from me, so like back towards his side of the board. And that was actually fine because it put a positional unit in play for me to more easily get scouting force, which I actually wanted, and it put the Saurus Warriors close enough that I could just shoot them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Warriors.
Yeah, so it was
a good day to be had
result.
by all when a wizard lizard dies.
Indeed. A couple highlights from that game, which I think would be fun. Welcome back, Rocco. You've made it. We've exchanged you for Mason, who's having some headphone trouble, but
sorry, Matt, for it. Oh.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
No, Jack, you're fine. I'm saying. I know Matt's focusing on his painting, and he's got
He's deep. He's deep in the zone.
Yeah, I'll keep talking.
Deep in the zone, but I'm talking about the joy of killing lizards that are also wizards.
That's your favorite thing, Matt. Personal revenge after all the times they've touched you inappropriately.
One of the 3 highlights of this game.
Jack's victory.
I'm going to say the best highlight of this game, considering what you just said there, Matt, for last. But I'll rattle through them real quick so we can move on to day 2. But first highlight, the Bastillodon's fate was ultimately doing good stuff in the middle, having been hit with a scythe and chipped mortals, but then he was near the Blammo mortals from the Wilderfiends, and nothing goes through 2-up armor save Bastillodon's like mortals from Wilderfiends. So that got him down to the dead range. I could finish it off and solve that problem, which was great. Mm-hmm. The second kind of fun moment was we did have a bouncy near the end, and he was trying to scrap for points and get stuff back. I can't remember if I did a double at any point in this game, but there was a moment when he was underdog because of my lead, I think, for sure. And he then took a double, and then I was the underdog. And I used that to take kind of this funny fight with Gunnar Brand and a bunch of like marauders who were my back right, where they were just probably going to die, to Agrodon Lancers and Skinks. Mm-hmm. And I was able to bounce things so that they just couldn't run around. They could only like charge the same unit again. And that same one objective. Yeah, it was like a containment thing, and it worked wonderfully for my purposes of just like keeping the score like arc going.
Yeah.
And last but not least, go ahead, Matt.
I think that's one of the reasons I think that mission should be viewed competitive and not with as much fear from competitive players, because it really punishes any double turns right
this
away.
Is the if you're the underdog, you can clear all the units off an objective, or you pick two of them, and they.
Oh my god! Yeah,
you have to place them on and off. One of the crazy things,
chess.
Yeah, and one of the crazy things too is like they have to be placed within a certain area. So if you're playing hordes.
Yeah, you could block out some real estate there, buddy.
It's wild.
So, I don't know. I think that's definitely one of the reasons I really like that mission is, you can't go all the way to Pound Town. You gotta think about the double turn in a more serious fashion.
It's true, because it can totally reverse the game immediately. I mean, there's the possibility of the stun lock with that thing, right? Where if you're get double, if you're gonna the underdog chooses who goes first and makes you go first, and then like bounces you. That your best units are in some corner, and maybe they can just run over the board, and you're never going to come back because your movement 5 guys are going to have a hard time with it. Even with the teleport from that thing. So real interesting. Definitely fun to play it. I think I'm in your corner, Matt. That it's one that I wouldn't mind seeing again. I think it's almost like limited resources. One of those things which adds a new dimension of you have to have strategic planning and play. To a tournament back. Can't just run forth and smooth brain over everything. But it was definitely scary, and it definitely forced that consideration. To close out the game, the third of the 3 highlights, I did my favorite thing with Wilderfiends. The thing I liked the Darkoath sub-faction the most for, where you bring back a dead Wilderfiend somewhere sketchy. I brought it back 6 inches in from the back of the board, near that annoying temple, near the skulking Starseer and his little mini throne. The one that chip off of like the slam stone so he can float around.
Yeah.
The most beautiful model, by the way. Oh, God, we just talk about how amazing that model is for just like a second. Whoever thought of that one, you deserve a raise. That's it. That's all we wanted. That's all we wanted.
I think I agree. It's like the most cool, like Aztec ruiny, like floaty magic thing they were really concocted. Yeah. But, I did what any good chaos Gribbly, which used to be your uncle and turned into a strange monster force to do. I ran forward and slavering away, and I swatted him down. And it was hard for him to escape because I had that anchor either way from the piece of terrain. So,
love it.
Yeah. And that just as a side note, like all of these different, like this edition, Darkoath, like sub-faction games you can play with that are always the most fun. And that's exactly what happens. I had a highlight moment playing a friend who had some Stormcast where I brought in a Wilderfiend and killed 6 long strikes doing exactly that. And that was the most fun thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're at 2-1 on the day so far.
2-1 on the day.
Keep track for the people at home. Good day 1.
Good day 1. Like, and at this point, I'm already feeling like, all right, I feel like I've probably done about as well as I expect to do with this list, with its sort of weaknesses, even though I'm going to do my best. It'll be fun. Respectable end. Went out, had some good dinner with some buddies there who I had a chance to catch up with, and some of the other folks in the retreat team I'm a part of, the Calhoun kids, and got some good food at the place up on the hill, called the Alchemy, which is like a local restaurant near the giant like strip mall complex they built kind of near this hotel, and then made my way home till late, like 11.
Yeah,
because I'd committed to driving back home in the other direction from where I was in Maine to spend the night at home and tend to the youngest lady if she was to do her like midnight to 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. wake ups and fusses. So I figured that'd be my pay it forward moment to then give my wife a break in the evening and everyone else might have to deal with that. So I did that. Didn't get too tormented by that littlest one, and got up and turned around it all over again. Got right back, for the 9 a.m. start or 9:30 a.m. start or whatever. And fourth game.
Well, hold on. We're doing this in the right fucking order.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Rocco.
Come on, man. We have standards here. What you have for breakfast?
It's being slippery. It was being slippery. It wasn't a ghost. I stuck with my guns. It was another Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. Blueberry flavored cream.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a good combination. I like it.
Oh, blueberries, good coffee.
Another wake up wrap.
Man, those were good. Now you're making me miss Dunkin' Donuts.
You do the bacon wake up wrap or the sausage?
I do the sausage because for some reason with the bacon wake up wraps, they just like sometimes will fill that with a puddle of grease, and if you like tip it, you just stain yourself.
I'm with you.
I didn't want to be like burn my skin or do that. Yeah.
Did we do hash browns?
No. I had to be a purist to do. I had to keep my focus. I couldn't have carbs clouding that too much, Rocco.
Fair.
Nope. That's valid.
Mm. But
so you hear that? We could be running on Dunkin', but
exactly. Yeah,
ghosts are scary good. We could have multiple sponsors.
That's right.
I think 2 is a good number. I'll take both. Just
send that check right away.
We'll negotiate the check. It'll be good.
Yep. We have people for that.
Yeah. I mean, we might even be convinced with like pretty robust reloadable gift cards.
Hey, I don't know. They'll have to figure something out for the West Coast, like maybe shipping.
Not seriously, like the box of
maybe you get a bunch of coffee shipped over there. They do beans. I'll just take them. Yeah. Anyway.
So I get there, say hello to everybody, chat so much, catch up with the buddies I had dinner with last night. including Eddie, who was out there for the tournament as well, running some eels and all that.
Eddie,
yeah. That is hurrah again. This is like his third last hurrah with the old book.
Yeah, well, he had a fun list as an aside. It was like 4 sharks doing like the shark conversion thing. I liked it. It was really creepy.
Did he was trying the new returning shark formation.
Yeah. They kind of come in everywhere, and I love those sharks. I'm also always a little afraid of them. So,
you got to call it shark bait.
Yeah, absolutely on that. That's the best name for it. Well, I guess jumping into game 4, I get paired with a guy who I hadn't met before, Tim and Philly, dude named Radu, and I think his last name is Angelach. I might have butchered that. So, Radu, if you join Discord, correct me. Apologies on that, but really
Radu,
cool guy. Yeah. And he was bringing my favorite variant of orc ever. He was bringing the Cruel Boys.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. I've been hearing they've been popping off lately.
They're scary.
Good, man. Like, I like them. And I think he was doing like a variation of them that I just hadn't seen before, and I got really appreciated. Okay. So let me set the stage for this one. I think we were playing, it might have been Creeping Corruption. It was the one where you can kind of like pulse a line between objectives and do like wounds or healing. Yeah. And it was the one where, there's 6 objectives. And
I can look this up. I have the GHP.
Yeah. It's good setup for that. And one where we kind of have to figure out who's going to be able to score tactics easily, or we can just stare across the no man's land forever. Like there's no real reason to move kind of situation.
Yeah.
But he's bringing the Group Boys with the Swamp Horde Bullies, which is one of those new sub-factions from the Duran stuff. And that one, lets them, I think, do something where multiple units of them are fighting like a particular unit. I think it allows you to give +1 attack to stuff like whatever it is.
Creeping Corruption? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that's right. Creeping Corruption.
Because that's the pulsing life energies there. Once per battle round, start of the battle round. Pick an objective you control and one other objective, whether you control it or not. Draw a line between the centers of those objectives. Then choose Propagation or Corruption. And then add 1 to casting rules. So if you're propagating, and banishment rules as well, that's nice. Or inflict D3 mortal damage. It's still mortal wounds. I don't care. Anyway, go on, Jack.
Yep. Yeah. It's the mortal wounds. It's mortal wounds for me. Must kill everything. All die.
Exactly. But, a cool underdog ability. Not necessarily the most game breaking, unless you get like just the right combination of things. So I'm staring across at his army, and I'm like, okay, we're going to have this like game of checking with tactics. So someone's going to have to rush forward. And as you'll redo his list, you probably guess it's going to be him, but he had intercept, recover, and match the paths. So he had in his Jones regiment Kragnos, Beast Killer, Killbow, 2 reinforced units of gut rippers, so 2 20 strong gut rippers.
I love it.
Haven't seen that since the book dropped. All right.
Exactly. Then a Killaboss and a Corpse Ship of Vulture with the Tough On and Slippery Scumbag abilities. And this will come up later. Then the second regiment would it's a Swamp Crawler Shaman with the Swamp Staff, then a couple of min-sized, the Bolt Boys, and a Marsh Crawler Slogoth. And of course, the Totem that they can get. So, they have their dirty tricks. They can make things strike last. They can make things -1 to be hit on them. They can teleport around. So you got to kind of be cagey. So I had the plan of this list, and I set up to completely control my 3 objectives with the intent that he would have to come to me. Because he couldn't score any tactics unless he did. There's not going to kill my heroes. They're hiding every single one of them against Obscurian, so they can't be killabowed or teleporting, whatever. And they're behind like the front lines. Mm-hmm. I'm also sitting there looking at his, interceptor recovers, and of course the ones I choose are these same skulking heroes. You're not going to get to them. It's not like you can wing something and make me come to you.
Yeah,
but I don't think that was the plan anyway. This thing was designed to come hit me like a truck because he could bring up Pragnos, as well as these run and charge, like gut rippers, 20 strong, which all 2 wounds, right? And could hide in forest and all that stuff. And just keep you a slog death so they could run and charge to keep up with Pragnos. And then they'd be able to do the pulled pork and the 3d6 charge like Pragnos does.
Let me just interrupt everybody.
I love it.
Sorry.
But that's just scary as heck right there. Thinking of that.
Pork, all right. Go on.
So then, of course, Kragnos is there, but the other piece was this corpse rip revulsion. And this thing does the old ogre charge. When it charges in, it'll do that many dice of its charge, which could be 3d6 dice worth of roll those dice, get your Yahtzee 4 up. Yep. And I thought it was really inspired and cool that when you combine that with like slippery scumbag, you can do the 3-up like bounce.
Get out.
Okay, I hit you. I don't like this fight. I'm going to go over here. Steal an objective, get in a weird position.
Yeah.
I've already done 4 or 5 mortal wounds to you. Yeah. There's no reason to be there if it's not like a one-sided fight. So he is getting ready to do this. Now, I've summoned the scythe, and I put it in an angle. So it's coming up in like the middle. It might be tagged by it. He did fly the corpse with vulture right there, and I scythed it. I did like 3 or 4 mortal wounds.
Nice.
Unfortunately, he was able to bounce it away, so I wasn't able to like murder kill it like on my turn too. But his whole thing
in combat, and it could bounce. That's okay.
Yep.
I see the tech there though. That is smart.
It was I thought pretty good. Like it was real fun. It was something my buddy Anthony always talks about, and I really agree with him on. It's like one of the most fun spells to use because of that mechanic, to be able to move it in your enemy's phase. Plus the fact you do have to plan it, and sort of telegraph it. You can close off entire lanes with it if you do it right. But I digress. This was a game where I really felt like everything went pretty okay until it didn't, and then it came out around my way the other day anyway. And what I mean by that is, I had to go first because he made me. I'm still sitting in my deployment zone almost entirely waiting for this. I'm not didn't move almost at all. And then he came all the way up with this massive rush and tried to do this stuff. And he's in a great position, for me to do what I want to do. Like I haven't exposed myself. I haven't run up and shot like whatever in the midfield. I've been back here waiting for him to get close enough for it. I've done some damage, but because the corpse of the vulture is flown away, I'm already thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to have great targets, but I can do what I need to do. Kragnos is up there in the middle of the field. He had like a long bomb Yahtzee charge, see where he wanted to, was going to, didn't get it. He needed like 15 or something, or 13 or 14 maybe. Well, then he rolled a double. He took the double. And all of a sudden, I have the problem of, I have a pretty good plan here, but I have double gut rippers rolling up at me. And I have Kragnos. And I have a free corpse of a vulture. And I have to hope he can't tag and kill my important stuff because I need to actually be able to punch back and win this. Although he could actually roll me, it would be a done game. It would be flow over me like the tide. And I'd done everything I could to minimize this possibility, but there's only so much with these deployment zones to not leave a pocket for something to land or whatever.
Yeah, so, dice are dice, right? So
dice are dice.
They tell stories.
I love that way of placing that sense in there. Right.
Yeah.
Just want to call that out.
Dice tell stories. I love that.
I've been saying it for years, but it got really popular from another YouTube channel with the 40K in 40 minutes people. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
In a lot of ways, that's why we play this game, because you never know what they're going to say, but it's always compelling because of that narrative.
Yeah. No, so anyways, call me in. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
My bleeding narrative playing besides.
No worries. Let me paint a picture here just to show you guys the state at the beginning of this, because rather done the right stuff, I think, to just erase my ability to do shenanigans. But there was still a game, because he'd come in and he'd swept in and he killed the Marauders already on turn 1 with 3d6 charging gut rippers that were on one flank. But, sitting there with a good countercharge from a bunch of Darkoath, a Chieftain, a full, like the Myrmidon if I wanted to, another Wilder Fiend. Like I had options to go deal with them.
And you got a target-rich environment with your Skaven there to shoot away.
Feeling really good. Of course, then the double, and that was through the reroll I had. I couldn't get a 4 on it. Put me in this position where I was like, okay, I really got to weather this storm.
Damn.
So luckily, Kragnos crashed in the front thing. The other gut rippers busy themselves murdering the other unit of Marauders. And, I was able to keep the central unit of Marauders alive through all of this because I think there was some attack splitting going on that happened, or maybe just not quite enough damage from Kragnos' big crazy thing, where there was like 1 or 2 guys left alive. Maybe 2 or 3, and it was the banner, of course. So there was no power through possibility because it's the center one for a reason. So you can and I was happy either with all of them dead or a couple left alive, but there was no power through. That was why that one's there. So, the good thing about that is, and crucial because the banner was alive, that meant that while he's sitting there, when I finally get my turn to, and it's time to shoot and try to do all this stuff, there's no all-out defense for Kragnos.
Oh,
I have 3 fully loaded Wilder Fiends to unload their little spooky blood magic on him, So I did that. And, to his credit, Radu's particular Kragnos was like, I am a tank. I will never die. Sure. I'm going to make a very large number of 5-up saves. But at the very end, I was able to squeak it through and kill him, because I'd also summoned the Quicksilver Swords, and they went in and finished the job and got through his ward by the last 2 wounds. But it was down to the wire. Yeah. This is after a Chieftain and some Darkoath did some damage. This is after he used this first activation with the remaining, I think, 4 of the gut rippers from the original unit of 20 or whatever it was, who were still alive after fighting the countercharging Myrmidon to kill him off in his last wound. But it was worth it because we got Kragnos, we cleared the stuff, and I used this vacuum, to just start bringing stuff up the midfield, killing other things, locking up the boss rock in the tower, sitting on the other objectives, killing the Sloggoth, respawning stuff. And so then I flooded the board. So even though that Corpse Ridge of Vulture was running around and he was killing Gunner Brand and doing some other stuff, I still owned the board for points and scores and getting through to the tactics and result I needed. So really awesome, hard fought game. At the end of the day, I went my way because of the plan that these Darkoath have, with their particular approach to dying and making that actually work for them. So that's awesome. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I just love the Cruel Boys. I want to see more of them.
They're always on my shelf, just asking me why I haven't painted them. Papa,
you got to do it. They're sneaky, right? What was it? What was it?
Don't you have enough Bestigor?
Yeah,
they're cunning and brutal, not brutal and cunning.
That's right. That's right.
No, they're such an interesting army. I love the giant blocks.
80 gut rippers, Matt. It's the new 80 Bestigor.
Hey, man, I've got them.
It's
they're just
guys.
all gray.
I mean, to take a moment to talk about the new gas that lives in the gut rippers, which I just thought Radu did a crazy good job of exploiting, is when he sets it up with that sub faction, rather than being 41 attacks on these 20 bodies, there's 61 attacks on those 20 bodies, and he just does the 2-up. Yeah, to give him 5-up mortals. So that's basically a directional 5-up mortal bomb, which can give you a -1 to hit them because of their scare shield. So it's you can kill them, but even though they're 300 points for that you can hide them in the forest now. You can run and charge them. You can do these Kragnos tricks. They're a legitimate threat if you can get that off and do it that way.
I mean, 300 points for that is super cheap. When you think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Compare that to your Darkoath. How much are you going to be able to get out? How many points are you spending to get your Darkoath up to that point to throw mortals, right?
Oh, exactly. I mean, there would not be no comparison to straight fight. I mean, not considering their ability to maybe come back and sit on something and just be annoying. 20 Marauders is 160 points. So I could get 40 Marauders for one of those. But outside of sitting on stuff, they would have a very hard time physically killing the gut rippers in return. That's the challenge there. I did chip down both units eventually to get rid of them, but like I had to send in like the Gunners Chosen, deal some wounds that way. I had to fight them with the tornaded Savagers who'd finished off, Kragnos. So it was a many hands kind of situation to get through that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was impressed with the list. I thought it was cool and well designed and really fun to play. So hats off to Ryder, great game there. But I got through that. Had sort of a cool down period for lunch, and then I was staring at the 3-1 in the final game, and I got paired into a really cool woman who I had met before named Lauren Tierney. I was actually the wife of another guy who plays around Wicked Dice and White Trina, and I hadn't kind of met them before, so it was cool to kind of get a chance to chat with them before and after the game and kind of like play her. And she was running a really cool Lumineth Realm Lords army.
Ooh.
And it was beautifully painted. Like I think they done like a commission job or something from someone up in Portland, but it was. I'll post pictures on the website, but it was like rainbow, like crests and kind of like elements flowing throughout. And it was just really well done.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah. And would that be Portland, Maine?
Portland, Maine. That's right. But a really clean, like Lumineth army, like when someone just knows what they're doing with the paintbrush, it is a joy.
It stands out
to play. Yeah.
And again, Martin Orlando's version of it too is just
it was there. He brought that. I mean, and Martin has like his giant cow monster guys, but he has like the florets painted on each pauldron, and it looks like it takes like 18 hours of careful work. So it's he definitely is an exemplar for that kind of thing. But this was also beautiful in its own right. That's sorry that Lauren held.
Gotta love a good elf. Anyway, go on.
All right. So,
but you can hate a bad elf.
You can hate a bad elf. There are some bad elves.
Yeah,
love to hate them. Bad in a good way, elves, Marathian folks, I guess. But yeah, this particular list was, going to be some cool nastiness. But we're playing on linked ley lines, right? The one that kind of looks like old focal points.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting out, and I feel okay from the get-go because her 2 tactic cards are intercept and recover, so got to come kill my things. I'll hide them. And restless energy has to get the objective in my home territory. So I felt pretty good about that start, just for that alone. But she was running Morbid Conjuration and a 3-drop with a Cenarian Lightner as the general, with a Tactician and Silver Wand, a regiment with Lyrial Withdrawal, which is like kind of that horseback riding character.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Beautiful.
The new Scourge of Garan, Light of Eltharion.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is, I will just say, not to bear the lead here, terrifying.
It was kind of scary before. It was just a little bit too expensive,
Mm-hmm. Well, but the new version, I will wax poetic on its power. But just to finish the list read, good unit of reinforced Orlon Sentinels, so 20 of those, a mini unit of Wardens, and then a reinforced unit of Dawn Riders, and the 3rd drop, Severeth. Kind of to do his thing. So some good hit and run energy and all that.
Love old Fox. This is where the furry joke was coming.
Yeah. You know what's coming up. And the Shrine Luminar, that floating megalo thing. So
freaking stupid terrain that's lopsided.
It is honestly this most impressive, like, garrisonable faction terrain piece I think I've seen. Not only can it move, but these little wizards, it like has 12 wounds and a 3-up. It's like really tanky. So I just it's hard to crack it open.
I mean, I love the rules. It's more just like that model is just okay. So I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but like 50-50, any Lumineth player that I played against has almost knocked that thing over and broken whatever model has been sitting beside it or on it, like in every game, just because of the way. I'm only whining about the model itself. I think that the rules are amazing.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree with you there. I mean, it has that particular peril with it. Much like their pointy spears are probably impaled more hands than people count, but it was cool. Like, I mean, I sitting at this visual feast across the way, like, I kind of did the plan with the Darkoath, right? But with the plan in this particular case, it always involves grabbing the 3 center lines immediately. because this was one of the 2 games of this edition I played, 4.5. We had a chance to do this tournament. So I knew that if I can get them up there, I could probably start to score some points because you get a lot for linking them. And then they got to move me off of them, which is my plan anyway. And then I can sort of try to ride the advantage of getting the backfield and always having the pair or always having like more. And, that worked out more or less here. Some kind of interesting highlights is that Lauren is doing some cool stuff and kind of harassing me with shooting, but I was really paranoid about that because I didn't want to kick off, losing characters or things like that who I tagged with like the intercept and recover. So I was always keeping them near like the, for the most part, the obscure terrain, as well as all the Skaven stuff. I didn't want her to get the drop on me and just shoot off my guns and have like no reprisal to it. So, I went first. She gonna move stuff up and did some things. She actually kept the horses back, but she sort of was harassing me with Severeth. She moved up the other guys.
As is tradition.
As is tradition.
As is tradition.
So kind of critically, I think in this game, like I felt like I was able to kind of maintain my energy because at the end of the turn 1, she hadn't taken the objectives from me. She mauled a bunch of the Marauders on the right side with Severeth because he's scary and he bounced around.
Oh, sure.
And she
he's big meanie.
Exactly. Yeah. And she hadn't gotten the ward off on the riders. She didn't want to come into like let me get a bunch of reflective mortal wounds block of Marauders. And the other flank, you literally had like Gunnerbrand and Wilder Fiend behind him and the Myrmidon in close range. So it would have been like potential good stuff.
Okay.
But she did completely eradicate like the center Marauders who had to expose themselves and be that screen. So, the plus side for me is that it didn't actually give a target to scary Eltharion to come in and charge to take the center objective. Instead, it was like, they're just going to sit there and I'm going to have maybe another turn to wait for that to happen. So we power through it. We kind of taking our time with it. I think we're all kind of low energy, but we had a fun game as we got through it and kind of enjoyed like the narrative experience of the dice, as you said, Rocco. But I was able to track down and kill Severeth at my turn too, because he was within range of the blood pukes, right? Like the blood magic for a couple of the Wilder Fiends. So I dumped a bunch of mortal wounds in there. I'd already done a few. I wasn't able to shoot him, but I was able to charge him with a Wilder Fiend to take off the last few.
Nice.
And
there you go.
Attack judiciously there. Yeah. So he did that, and, by the kind of like advancing points of the game, I'd had a couple Wilder Fiends in the back, kind of fighting the Shrine Luminor. I'd had the right flank. I used all of my shooting from that critical turn with like the pop off extra range and everything from the gear from the Skaven Regiment out to shoot all of the Sentinels to death. So I countershot all of the archery away. He still had a lot of scary like shooting himself from like sword bolts from Eltharion, something from like the Warden, and like whatever comes off of the wizard in his tower. But like despite that, he could no longer rain death upon me, so I felt a little bit better. So I was able to start getting stuff in the backfield. I eventually used the Luminor Shrine to charge up some Darkoath Sentinels I've been kind of keeping in like obscuring terrain in the midfield to help like get that thing down to killing range, while he's hiding inside of it to help take care of that. And he eventually did charge in, the horses to the center of the board, and then she rolled a double 1.
Oh,
so no. So when Lauren did that, it was like, okay, that's just bad luck. But then I actually I didn't countercharge him. I brought him in on my turn because I had made him strike last, started chipping down the damage, kind of locked him in so they couldn't like get around and harass me too much. So he did have with like pretty much all of the original spear guys dead, still Eltharion as like an absolute menace in the center of the board. But I was feeding him stuff like my Myrmidon, who was trying to kill him, but could at least sit there and distract him for a turn while I held the back objective with like, little pieces.
Yeah.
And, eventually, we got to the end of the game and we figured it all out. And, dust settled and I claimed the victory for it, again, just kind of by sitting on stuff, and being
Nothing
where I needed to be
man.
and letting people die slowly. And I was, really pleasantly surprised. I had like a really fun game with her, some things could have gone awry, but it went my way. And then I ended up, sitting there at the end of the tournament on a 4-1, total submarine after my first game against Thomas. But, I was like quite happy to have gotten this ragtag band of Oathstone wearing true humans who did not fall for Sigmar's lies to a reasonably good place at the end of the day.
Yeah. There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a lot
Finished
of fun.
4-1.
Yep, 4-1. Ended up getting, I think, 8th for the tournament out of like the 56
Hell yeah,
or whatever.
buddy. Let's go.
Yeah, you're right under Vestieri, right?
Yep, it was. I think Anthony ended up 1 above me. Anthony Lawrence at 7 with his extremely scary Daughters of Cain. I actually borrowed Bandless spells from him because I didn't have Fan Up in time. And 1 below above him was Jeremy. Yep, and then I think, oh geez, who really was like the murderers row at the very top of this thing? It was something scary. It was see if I have this.
It was an orc list that got first place.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
To get it for me because I had a friend of mine who really loves orcs and can never seem to make them work. It was like Wait on Rice was the name of the list. Adam Weinstein.
That's right. Adam Weinstein had the top
with Iron Jaws.
Yeah, he was second, I think. I think he was second under Dylan. Dylan throughout, your friend and guest of the show.
Oh, did Dylan actually win
again? Yeah, he won again. You know, he just steamrolled with his humans, his City Sigmar.
2-5-0s? My God.
Yeah, just absolutely brutal list of his.
Great.
The boogeyman, Dylan. You're the boogeyman now, apparently.
He is the boogeyman.
Did he do cannons? Did he?
You know, I'll tell you what he had. I think I had it sitting somewhere, but it was
okay.
If I find that.
Inquiring minds would like to know.
Indeed.
Yeah, let's pull it up just because it's interesting. I think worth a shot on that. So let's see. What did he have? Okay. All right. Dylan's list with his one of the 250s. He was running a list titled, I am quite certain that the crime of this guilty land will never be purged away with blood. I had, as I now think, vainly flattered myself that without much bloodshed it might be done.
That was just the list name. All right.
So that's the list name, yeah.
Okay.
Not the detachment.
Not the detachment. So he was a City Sigmar, Fierce Exemplars, doing Master of the Past from Wrathful Cycles, doing Forbidden Power, as he does with that.
Okay. Yeah.
And he had a Steam Tank Commander with the job. He had Pontifex Sinestra to do the whole yoink thing.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah,
the new one. He had Callus and Toll.
You gotta.
Yeah. Then he had a Freewheel Marshal and Relic Envoy with Heirloom Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
He had a Fusel Major and the Ogre Warhawk with the Brazier Holy Flame and Cosmopolitan Leader.
Yep.
He had a reinforced unit of Free Guild Fusiliers, a reinforced unit of Free Guild Cavaliers.
Okay.
And then in the 5th Regiment, this is the real sauce, he had a Battle Mage and then 3 separate Free Guild Command Corps.
Interesting.
Command Corps just really good.
No, they are. The D&D party of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're nasty wounds, broken recursion. They can do some stuff. They can stop commands. They're an amazing unit for 140 points.
Yeah. That's a great list. I like that.
No,
list.
It really is.
I mean, minus the Callus and Toll,
You get all the
command corps. I'm like, I can run all that, but I don't have 3 command corps. That's a lot.
You think one command corps would be enough, right? But when you have 3, I don't know, I guess they all went to some multi-level marketing scheme version of a military college, and everyone's a manager, and you're a manager, and you're a manager. But
it's when 3 separate D&D parties join a battle that's already in progress. That's essentially what they are,
Yeah,
it's like it's
a big join session.
It's what is it? What is the name of that show? It's a Dropout TV.
Dimension 20?
Or Dimension 20. There we go.
Yeah.
It's Dimension 20 cross episode.
The Time Quangle episode. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I say, actually, before we recorded, I just watched the latest Game Changer, and oh my God. I love the Dropout stuff. It's so great. They're just so funny.
Yeah, they're really good.
But anyway. Great job, Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Yeah, representing there.
Well deserved and well earned.
They can't take those internet points away from you, with our GTS stuff.
No. Other ones may persist, but these ones are for sure. Take that.
Yeah.
So that being said, what do you think when you were building the Darkoath list? like you were 50-50 on it, right? You're like, I'm either going to do amazing or I'm going to do horrible.
Yeah.
Going in, or coming out of it, right? What was your experience on your theory versus the outcome? And like, how did that change your perception of this 50-50?
Yeah.
Post tournament.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I felt like my theory felt sound, but I was always a bit worried of stuff that could steamroll what I had and not let me get that recursion engine going.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really worried, even going in, about the Space Marine save nature of the recursion, which I think is the weakness of it. Like when they first released the Darkoath, it was like prior to like the new edition, it was you could bring back a Darkoath thing, kind of the same selection of units. You could bring them back without a command point or anything. I think you had to pay, if I recall, though maybe there was a command point. But either way, you could do it.
We had more
at
command
will.
points back then. It was free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single hero phase, not even just yours, and your opponents too.
Mm-hmm.
So you could bring back double the units with 100% reliability over the course of the game. You still had to have like Darkoath hero alive, but you didn't have to wonder if it was going to work. And I was worried that I might come in here and I might have these weak units die to something really alpha rolly strong. I might not get enough in the reprisal to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I might not be able to bring back these units. I roll ones or twos at bad times, and then I would just be not scoring my tactics and stuff like that or whatever. And I think that over the course of the games with that one, that was the one I was thinking about and predicting. That turned out to, yes, be a factor. There were a couple times where games were almost lost, or there was a critical turn where I could have gotten more points maybe more easily because I rolled that dice. That was still 3-up, so there was plenty of times it did work, and I got to do great things with it. So it was working as intended, but like that build-in break, I was always afraid of like costing me a critical thing,
Okay.
And
did you feel like you were playing on a knife's edge, essentially?
a lot, yeah. With this particular list, it forces you into that more often than not because, I mean, it is fun. But what I think the feeling, I guess, best described as is with this particular build have certainty in terms of how anything at all is either going to hit or kill or hold up or whatever. So, like if I throw a Wilder Fiend in to kill something, he's naturally so swinging. He can kill Be'lakor or he can fail to kill an ogre. It's kind of like his range.
Not even kill a Noblar.
Exactly. And there's enough times in this game where you got to commit to do something and it needs to work. Or you've mispositioned yourself, right? So like that's sort of the holding, like kind of holding your breath, chittering your teeth kind of stuff that comes with it. And then when it comes to the fighting units, reflective wounds are a 5-up. I can do 10 mortal wounds to you or 2, when you kill my whole unit.
Yeah.
If I'm swinging back at you and I haven't charged, it's a bunch of guys with 2 attacks and 4s and 3s and no rend. They could do a lot of work because of weighted dice, or they can do no work because of rated dice.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, and even like my hammers, right? Like that Myrmidon has an incredible capacity for violence.
Yeah.
And he has 8 wounds and a 4-up save.
Absolutely nothing. Right?
Yeah. It's like that very first game, with Thomas is a good example. Like he didn't even necessarily fire him down. He did decide to shoot the, spear at him and then like do like the impact hits on him. But had he survived that, or been slightly ignored, or taking like 6 wounds because he split antlers on different things to kill the guns, well, then 16 attacks at 2-ups, rend -2, 3 damage.
Yep.
But he has 8 wounds and a 4-up. Things look at him and he dies. Even when I went in on that very critical game, against Radu, with a countercharge to try to clear off like these 20 in my way, like like orcs, because I need to get that tempo back. I knew that he was going to get some, in this case, crappy 6-up Yahtzee mortals against him, and I all out defensed him to like make sure he would hopefully survive, even as I did like his once a game fight twice, like I'm going to go have the most violence ever ability. But I knew at that moment that it was possible he would die. It was unlikely, but it was way more possible that he was like, like Abraxia or something, or like some really tanky thing with a ward save. So of course it was close. Like got some Yahtzee mortals in. I had to make a couple 3-up saves. I did because I'd gotten the all out defense. But he could have just died there, and that would have been like 16 more orcs to deal with, which might have been too much, and that lack of certainty was scary, in many places.
Oh, it
And
is.
yeah, I guess pretty full circle to that 3-up I'm talking about. Like when I need to make that 3-up, I need to make that 3-up. Like there was a couple times when it wasn't going off, and it was the difference between I am in a very dominant position now because I have places you can't get to, and I'm scoring tactics to. Well, now I'm just dealing with my initial set of units, and I'm still back here, and I'm waiting for the engine to start. I hope I can roll a 2-up in 3 or 4, or 3 to kind of get that one thing I need. And
you called this slot machine the army at one point.
I mean, you were praying to the dice gods, and sometimes the dice gods don't answer.
Exactly.
It sounds like it feels very, very lore accurate, to be honest.
Indeed, making oaths and filling up stones and doing cool stuff. I mean, it was fun that way. Though I will say, very few oaths were substantially fulfilled in the course of the game.
That's also lore accurate. Yeah, that was great.
That's the only thing about that army that feels a little disappointing. Unless you're playing the horses, those it's pretty easy. They're off, but
is that still the just charge?
Yeah, just charge one unit.
Charge alone. If you're there on your own, you get +1 rend, and it's great. It's for the javelins can like rend too, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Actually, a minor side tangent for those who are interested in like the irony of this Darkoath lore is a review of their oaths and how absurdly hard they are. I mean, with the exception of the ponies, which you just mentioned, Matt. If you're running like Gunner, like their best war chief special character, he has to kill a character to execute his oath. He has 5 wounds and a 5-up and no ward save unless he kills the character. Special abilities. Yeah, like has a lot of attacks with his swinging, so he's unlikely to do it. Then you got your typical Marauder. They probably have the next easiest one where they just have to roll an 8 to charge, and that gives them no rend to -1 rend, which is like, okay, you become a modicum of fighting, all of a sudden.
You become most other armies' basic trooper.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, but for much less points, right?
Much less points. I mean, it is 160 for 20 wounds. And
again, just list 141 at a big GT. I'm not trying to take away from.
Appreciate it, Rocco. Appreciate it. Got to give the Darkoath their day here. The Ozone is fulfilled, sir.
So I went to an RTT this last weekend, and I saw Darkoath there too. I think that your dedication to the list is founded in good solid theory, embracing the chaos.
I agree.
I appreciate that, Matt. I appreciate that. I think you're onto something. If I had to call out what's different right now in the new 4.5 to really kind of gives it more legs.
Yeah.
It's not the new stuff. The amulet's cute and all that. Let's bring back a couple models, and there is a trick where you can bring back some of the Gunner's buddies with 3 wounds. The real thing is you can hide all your heroes without any worry at all because there's obscuring terrain everywhere across the board. They all want to be by places of power anyway, or in forests. So you can just park your all-important heroes who can't die and your little pocket counter pieces if you want to do stuff like I was doing the Myrmidon on
they
something.
Can't afford to die.
Yeah, can't afford to die. They can't snipe it. You can also do that with Wilder Fiends because they're beasts. So the only things they can target are your cheap chaff Marauders and your Savagers. And this gives you opportunity to scared
from other stuff. Yeah.
It's such a difference from having those things get sniped out. Because if you're in a situation where someone's playing you and they want to just kill your heroes and they can do that more easily with shooting or magic, you just lose all your recursion immediately.
It would be a scene out of The Patriot, the shooting of officers at the beginning of every engagement.
Well, and then
very, very good for Massachusetts there. But
I see what you did there.
And then that was pretty good. That was good. I got a pause for that one. It was pretty good.
Wasn't even a pun. That was just a good callback joke. Let's go. But no, and that's great. That everything seems to work and click. And again, it's a little bit of a slot machine, and if they get their own buffs, but the buffs are useful when they go off. And it also sounds like if it isn't running at 100%, you're not hitting every 3-up, you still have play, which is the important part.
I think so. I mean, it's real fun that way. I was thinking, after the games and riding my way to that dinner, thinking, okay, well, it was fun. Really pleased with the result. Was super ecstatic about it. Obviously, you had a chance to have 5 great games, make 5 friends, or catch up with old friends in this case.
Yeah.
To some degree, where some of them are old opponents and old, buddies. But
Yeah.
I'm like, what could I improve upon this? Like, how could I tighten this list out? I go into a totally different list, and
Yeah.
I do think it has legs. I mean, there's some other little tweaks I could make. For instance, breaking up those 20 blocks. They didn't have the banners, so they have to die. Like, make it so that any big hammer is definitely going to kill 10, even if it might not kill 20. And that way they can't power through anywhere. They're going to sit there.
Yep. And then you've got spaced out board control, a la Mason style.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Darkoath got a lot of promise. It's just, expect little, and then any bonus you get is amazing, right?
And they're that cheap as well, just flooding the board with cheap bodies really does matter sometimes.
Yeah.
And they get some stories out of them, right? It's really satisfying to see this crappy little attack sometimes take down like these heroes or horses or whatever, some monster. Or like my personal favorite combo, which I know I was talking to you about, Matt, like literally like a month ago or something, maybe more, where you can take the Darkoath Chieftain, a little 80, 90 point nothing guy with like 5 attacks with a broadsword, and you take the Darkoath Savagers, we're just hungry for glory, but have those crit mortals on 6s and a base 2 attacks, and you can say, okay, you guys are Khorne, we're running in here in the counterpunch, and the chieftain takes his big noble swing, his 5-0 attacks, maybe gets a couple crit mortals, but he procs the Khorne Savagers to get +1 attack and fight right after him. And all of a sudden, these silly humans in their cool ragtag Conan band of just awesome Hyboreal looking get-ups.
Oh, we're He-Man all the way here.
He-Man. 41 attacks, fishing for crit mortals, 4s and 3s, and that has killed many a big thing or many a scary thing, very cinematically.
Which is great.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely love to see it.
But there you have it, guys.
What was the amazing event? Well, was that though? You're like, the unit you picked that was like most reliable. That was your MVP.
Oh, the MVP. No, I'd say if we are going to accept the slight addition of that Skaven Regiment Renown, who are very much a core of the army to do all the shooting and take care of problems.
in every list.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. Okay. They make the list work. But of the 1,500 plus points, which are definitely just pure Darkoath in the Myrmidon, you have to look at the Wilder Fiends as probably being the MVPs.
Okay.
Yep. That would have been my guess. They're a great little toolkit unit.
It's lovely. That's lovely. I mean, you can shut off command, you can heal them off. I've done a couple of them at different times, but generally, of course, the thing they just do better than anything else is surprise people with how much damage they do, like many little monsters. And
I mean, you said 8 wound, 4-up save, right?
9 wounds.
9 wounds. More wounds than the sharks you're scared of, Jack.
Yeah. But it's a 5-up they got, Rocco, because people don't think about the fact you got to throw 15 wounds on them after the save to get that. Yeah. And the number of times they just cinematically lurch out of the forest and they kill something too close to the edge or just tie something up or take a stray objective. Like, there are times you got to bring back like the 10 Marauders and the 5 Savagers just to start scoring tactics. But there are times where they will go and kill the vulnerable thing because you can't be everywhere at once. And to the story's point, it's a kind of unit where that mechanic encourages you to make a story with Wilder Fiend rather than super cagey with it. At least one will go off in some quest. And sometimes he dies nobly or distracts something for a turn. But sometimes he just succeeds right there and does something improbable, and that's just a lot of fun.
You love to
then
see
a lot of people are just cutting their palms right next to him. Going, oh, this is our guy.
Exactly. Used to be your uncle, your aunt, your cousin. And, it's just very thematic.
Little Jimmy down the street.
Yeah, they got some legs. I think certainly
got legs. They got the corpses to prove it. They got a whole bunch of legs out back.
You got horns.
Oh yeah, that's the inevitable form. Plenty of stones.
Many eyes.
Those factor for those things, but
and beautiful model. Just
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
model.
Well, I was psyched it worked out. I was glad to kind of put it to test and say it worked in 4.5 here. But yeah, great couple days, great folks, great time with my opponents, and like really enjoyed like the event. So again, a big tip of the hat to the Wicked Dicey crew and all our friends over there for putting together such amazing experiences. If everyone wants to come, and play there and indulge in them. Looking forward to
Jack, did you wear anything in particular for this event or anything? Or?
I think I did. I think that I am a living advertisement for the magical shorts.
You may be able to go 4-1 just like Jack if you hit a merch store.
Exactly.
That was the worst thing. Don't go because I said that. There,
is it a shameless promotion?
No, go because Jack says it at the end in the pre-recorded session that we got from it. Or sorry, that Rocco says it at the end in the pre-recorded session. Not because he says it now, but
no. I have a nice little commercial for us at the end of this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm open to voice acting work and voiceover stuff. So that's not my only thing ever, but But yeah, we've talked enough about it. Those shorts really are comfortable, though.
Oh, they are. Go well with the jersey too, looking matching, looking snazzy. It was good, and kept me comfortable in the hot box of a room we had in one of the games on first time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys had a pretty good heat wave too, right? Were you guys?
We absolutely did. Yeah.
So glad to hear everybody survived.
Mm-hmm.
It's importante.
Yeah, 8th place, man. Very nice.
Well, guys, we might have come to a reasonable spot for this one. Hopefully all the listeners have enjoyed our kind of rambles in the Always Strike Last tradition. We talk about this GT of mine. But
brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. I know.
Brought to you by multiple Dunkin' Donuts. And at the end of the day, what can I say?
He runs on Dunkin', don't you know?
Yeah. What can I say about this particular adventure? But Stone fulfilled.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Stone fulfilled.
I think that's a great thing to end on.
Yeah. Cut it there,
even
Matt.
Darkoath are fucking awesome now.
Oh, they are.
New meta pick, Guns in the Woods, guys. The Armed Landscape.
Hello, everybody. It is Rocco, your boy, coming at you once again with another Always Strikes Last promo. That's right. Ring that bell. Leave a like, a subscribe. On whatever platform you're listening to us on, be it YouTube, be it Podbean, whatever you got these days, so you can keep up to date. Don't forget, we have the Patreon if you want to, give us a thank you for all the stuff we put out. That gets you into our member-exclusive Discord. And if you want to be an even bigger supporter, we've got a merch store.